Hello, and welcome to Monopoly Tycoon. And this is going to be a new series called Tycoon T-Days, where I play a Tycoon game on Tuesday and Thursday. And the first one we're picking is Monopoly Tycoon, because this is a game that I wanted to record since I started Let's Playing way back in, like, the summer. And those aren't even videos that are still on my channel. Like, those are videos that are gone. They're not gone, they're just private, but, like, those are videos that, like, you can't see them, is my point. And, like, but this is a game I wanted to record and Let's Play since back then. And, getting dust off a tablet. You know about my tablet if you've watched my Let's Plays. It used to be my little walkthrough thing for all of my games. It is now only my walkthrough thing for only full screen games. But we're gonna put in my name. And we're gonna change settings. Sound, we want the music to be 1, 2 clicks higher, and we'll turn the rest of the sound down 2 clicks lower. Graphics, we want to put the draw distance all the way up. Gameplay, we want the mouse sensitivity 1, 2 clicks higher. Now I'm going to do the tutorials, and we're gonna make this a long episode. I'm gonna do all the tutorials in this episode, but one of the problems I had with recording this series is I didn't know how I wanted to do the tutorials, whether I wanted to read out the boxes. I am going to turn this down. You might be seeing my little, the little box that shows how much the volume is, and the volume changing shouldn't affect you, because, like, OBS doesn't reflect how loud the volume is on my desktop. Anyway, relevant to you, I didn't know whether I wanted to read out loud the text on the screen or let you guys read it, and I didn't know how long I should leave it on for if I didn't read it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to not read it. I'm going to read it in my head 3 times and let that be how long it goes on the screen. So I'm going to do the tutorials, and I will comment on, I'm still going to commentate on things that are going on that are not the box, but I'm not going to read out the box. One thing I want to mention is that the cars in this game are really nice looking. They're really low poly because they aren't the main focus of the game, but they're really nice looking for how low poly they are. Especially, obviously, the 30s cars, because I'm a huge 30s car nut. But, like, all of them are pretty nice looking. One thing it doesn't say here is that and it will say in a later tutorial, I just don't know if I'm going to do all the tutorials in this episode or not yet, is that when in normal gameplay, when it hits 12 midnight, it switches to, it advances a year, but every year is 5 years. So it's like, that's exactly how the original manual, which I don't have anymore, explained it to me. It was like, every day is a year, but every year is 5 years. And it's like, it's really weird that they explained it that way, but that's how I always remembered it for some reason. I don't know why they just didn't say every day is 5 years, but anyway. But that's also why some of these cars that are running around here don't necessarily look exactly 1930Z. They look kind of 1935Z. So, and then, and we will be taking a closer look at some of these cars later on. Each token has an associated color with it. I always picked race car just because race car is the best token in regular Monopoly. But race car's color is red. And if you'll notice these little awnings down here on some of these buildings, that awning color is always your color plus white. And so these are owned by the city, so they're gray. What is a more retail looking awning than white and red? Red and white. It's the most awningest colors. It says approximately once a day here. It's not even close to approximately once a day. It's like so rare that you'll get them. Although it's more common when it's really weird how often you get them, I think. I do want to talk about something here, but I am... Part of the thing is, like, this is why there's a lot of... one of the things is the reason some of these are lasting longer than me reading them 3 times over is I'm not actually reading them 3 times over. But I do want to talk about, so you'll notice, and I'll talk about this more in depth later, there are gray ones. These gray spots are municipal things. So these are, so you can lease blocks in the game. That's like owning a block, that's like owning the space in regular Monopoly, but you don't own it forever. The white ones are the utilities. You'll notice there's 4. Well, I'll talk about this whole thing later But, so let me just go to a familiar one. Oriental. Let's just go to Oriental. So I'm not very talkative, there's just not a lot to talk about while you're trying to read stuff. The night lighting is really good in this game. There's not like the anyway. Okay, here it wants me to click buttons. So the different options here. So this is the player comparison panel. You can have up to 6 different. Okay, so that sound means it's about to be 6 o'clock a.m., which is when everything restocks, and then also when they check to make sure you aren't going bankrupt. So you can have up to 6 players, and then this is how you check to make sure this is where you compare your players' stats. So like cash, businesses, today's profit, empire value, yesterday's 6 a.m. costs, sales, and back to cash. Okay, this is the city view, and we'll talk about the board a little bit here, the city. You'll notice there's these light gray ones here. These are municipal blocks. You can't lease these. You can lease these ones. It's kind of like buying a block, a space in the main game, but you only have it for a limited amount of time. Um, and you can't lease these whatsoever. You'll notice there's new stuff besides the municipal ones. There's electric and waterworks are here, but they also have two buddies, gasworks and telecoms. Um, Baltic and Mediterranean have three buddies: Albany Docks, Hampstead Harbor, and Jefferson Port. I think is what they're called. We'll get when we get into City View, we'll take a closer look at the actual properties and how they're laid out because it's very interesting to me. But that is just what I'm going to say for now. Yeah, it won't let me go back to Indiana Avenue by clicking on the button again. And there's a weird glitch with Indiana Avenue where it says, "Oh, like it's supposed to show the block selector cursor, but it's showing the building selecting cursor." And then it says I'm clicking on Oriental Avenue when I'm not. It's really weird. And then it doesn't show any cursor now. And it still says Oriental Avenue. It's weird. Just a weird glitch. Click on this one. Now it's showing the correct cursor and showing the name of the block, so. Notice now that I am top hat and I am orange, and there is also an iron in this yellow. So, okay. So what he doesn't mention is that how to see where citizens shop, and that's their color coded. So anywhere that they're gray, the dots are gray, they've shopped. The last place they shop is one of the city stores. Anywhere that they're, I just saw one. Yeah, he must have shopped at the city store. Oh, there he is. That person shopped at one of my stores. And then you'll notice them, they kind of disappear. They disappear this way, and that's them going in the subway. They're also not supposed to walk on this part, and somehow they did. One of them did. So I don't know how that happened. Also notice that there's 100 people in the city right now, and there's 100 dots walking around. Technically, the cars that drive around are just decoration. They don't represent population. Also, now that we're in City View and he's technically not blocking his head, Mr. Monopoly's head isn't blocking off any of the properties. Let's look at how the city is laid out. There's a central park in the middle. There's a baseball stadium that he is blocking off here. Reading Railroad and B&O Railroad are in the same position that they are on the board. Pennsylvania Railroad and Short Line Railroad are swapped from the position they are in the board. And then everything else is kind of just strewn about, but in ways that make sense, if that makes any sense. So like Baltic and Mediterranean and Boardwalk and Park Place are kind of close to each other. And then Boardwalk and Park Place, I'm pointing to the wrong ones when I say them, are near the greens, and the greens are opposite where the yellows are. Like on the other side from where the yellows are. But then the yellows are near the reds, which they are on the board, and the reds are opposite where the oranges are, but they're close to them. And then the oranges are way on the other side from where the purples are, which isn't how they are on the board. But then the purples are kind of close to the blues, but then the blues are way on the other side where the purples are. And then there's the new gray ones, the brown ones, gray ones, whatever you want to call them. Anyway, that's my little talk about. Oh, and then there's gasworks down here and telecoms up here, which I don't know where they go on the board if you put them on the Monopoly board. because it's not like they've ever been introduced to Monopoly after this game came out. They're just there to be in this game. Yeah, no, that's kind of my discussion about this Monopoly City, I guess. Okay, so this button is block prestige, and you'll notice anything that you can, so anything that you can lease has block prestige. So the municipal blocks don't have prestige at all, whatsoever. And then anything that's, so anything that's 1 star and isn't buildable is, no, what did I want to say? Oh, anyway. That's not exactly what I was saying. I kind of got a little confused. Anyway, there's only 2 5-star properties whatsoever. Period. And that's Boardwalk and Park Place. Then the rest kind of go down in sets of 2s. And then all of the leasable and not buildable blocks are 1 star. Yes, that's how I wanted it. Anything with a red padlock on it is not buildable, period. Ever. Period. I think. Yeah. This one says I have 0 because it just ran out, but because it's a tutorial, I have it forever. Yeah. So it says I don't have it because it ran out, but it's a tutorial, so I always have it. This shows financy type stuff. You can click on the other players to show what they're doing. Yep. Okay, the locator has some interesting things in it. I'll let you read that for a second. So, this shows all of my businesses, the first one, hence the key. So there, I have a bookstore, and I have a bar, but it's 1930s, so shouldn't it be called a speakeasy? And then this one locates any business. It says any business type selected in this list will flash on the city map. Now, what I didn't understand at first is that this shows all of the business types available, period. And if it doesn't flash at all, if nothing flashes, that means none of those are available. It should be noted that Marvin Gardens and Pacific, I think, are the exact same type of... are exactly the same. They just are different. Yeah, those four buildings are all hotels. Anyway. You may be wondering, why is there a commodity locator and a business locator? Well, certain businesses, there are multiple businesses that sell the same commodity. Now, this is Illinois and has 3 apartments on it, and there's 46 people living there, and they need clothing the most. There's that phrase again, top line. I like that phrase. Now, one of the things about Monopoly Tycoon is that technically before 1930 doesn't exist. Um, there is no 1925, 1920, 1915, 1910, 1905. 1930 is the earliest day you can start the game. You know, now that I think about it, I think maybe the day advances every couple of days. The year advances every couple of years, days. I can't talk right now. And that tutorial will be done in the next episode because I didn't manage the time of recording I didn't manage the time of letting you guys read that. I probably left the tutorial buttons up too long. The tutorial balloons up too long. And this episode probably lasted like 50 minutes. So we'll make this 3 episodes of tutorials and then we'll get into the actual game. Thank you for joining me though.